Yeah. He was, yeah.
So what I'm saying that's about it.
But they're not, when you look at this,
So I want to know, I want you to. Oh,
it's, you know,
My trouble.
She's running where we had different problems.
There's so much.
Oh, there it is.
Good evening. I just learned that we're being recorded back here on YouTube. I was not aware of that, so if anybody's uncomfortable, just to know that you are being recorded. But I think that's going to be a procedure from now on. I'm kind of reading it through the lines here. The Township Township Planning Commission meeting on June 8th, 2021 at 7:02 is now open. If you all join me with the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States, please. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let me just take a moment to introduce commissioners. This is Jason Merchant to my left. He's the trustee, on the board as well as a representative to the commission. Cole Schumacher is the ZBA is a representative for the ZBA, and also on this commission. Laurel Carlton is next with the mask on. She is our recording secretary. Barbara Boudros is commissioner, and Sarah is our PC consultant and temporary planning administrator. And Veronica is our recording secretary. Two people are not here tonight. Jerry Colton is out sick, and Bob Hawkins could not make it at a previous commitment. So putting a little bit of a crimp on our meeting, I'll get into that later. But there may be some changes as we move forward. I just want everybody to understand that. Next on the agenda is a consideration of the agenda. I'd like to add an item. I'd like to add a B to number 10 on the agenda. It's review zoning 2.19 and 4.0. May I have a motion to approve the agenda, please? May I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? No discussion, a vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, we're about to open a public hearing, which is, we don't have these very often. So what we do in this commission is that when we have a public hearing, we're reviewing zoning ordinances as changes that are already established. And last meeting, we reviewed two zoning ordinances, 2.19 and 4.0 in their entirety, and they were approved changes. Tonight, the public hearing is to voice any concerns you may have on those two subjects only. So would anyone like to address that in public hearing? Excuse me, I'm going to open the public hearing up at 7:04. Would anybody like to speak on 2.19? This could be a quick meeting. Okay, now I'm going to say there's no speakers, nothing written, or no letters. Okay. Then what I'm going to ask is to close the hearing, public hearing at 2.19. And the time of being closed is 7:05. And it is now closed. The next public hearing will be for zoning ordinance 4.0. Would anybody in that hearing is open at 7:06? Would anybody like to address that? No written commentary on that? Okay. The public hearing for 4.0 is now closed. The time of the hearing is 7:07. Any other additional public commentary not pertaining to those two issues? Anybody like to speak? Nobody speak. Okay. The next item on the agenda is the minutes. Now, we're having difficulty, all of us, getting these minutes correct, so bear with us. Veronica's doing an excellent job. I've gone over the minutes and made a number of slight grammar errors, punctuation errors. I'm not going to get into them. I don't think it's necessary. I'm going to give her my changes at the end of the meeting so she can take time to review them. So it's not taking up all your time. It's not changing any of the flow in it. It's just a matter of spelling out people's names rather than the initials and things like that. Does anybody, the other commissioners, have any changes you'd like to make to the minutes? Oh,
I did. What is that? Where? Oh, they're in here. Okay. Yeah. And you may have copies, Bill. I just wondered if
spell out and see if I did. I went through it. I have a number.
you may have missed the first one, actually. It's on the second page, 11B. Cole Schnaker, my name is spelled wrong.
That's correct. I got it.
You got that one? And also on the last page under 14A.
Okay.
Right at the end of it, it says seconded question mark CS.
I've got that.
Okay, I'm not sure what that means.
Let's Coach Shoemaker and work out. We're using the initials rather than the name. And we're going to correct that in the future.
Okay.
Those will all be spelled out as our names.
And I have a quick question. We refer to the tape now, where you can find it?
No, you know what, I was looking at these and wondering if I sent you the wrong copy. Those are for my purposes, so I record on my phone as well, so I have two recordings. And when I put that, that's where I know exactly go to review what was exactly said. And that, those things normally will never appear. So I think I sent you the wrong final draft for this. My apologies. I was rather nervous about this.
That's fine. I noticed. I've
You
never
will
seen
not be
that.
referencing the audio, no.
Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, Veronica's got a tough job. She's got to listen to all this stuff, have what she probably doesn't understand what she's listening to, and then retype it and get it in the minutes. But just so the group, the audience knows, it's really important, the minutes are correct. Who said what, when they said it, what the votes were, so, because it goes in history. If you look at our website, we've got back at least 15 years of minutes you can review. And you're looking back at the old ones, trying to figure out what's happened back in 1989. It's really important to get these correct and clear. So we're kind of working towards that together. So I'm going to give this to Veronica at the end of the meeting. Hopefully we catch on. I know, Sarah, it's a little unorthodox to do it.
You're gonna just standardize the names
Yes,
so that they're all the same.
yes.
Did you pick one name to call me?
Oh,
Because sometimes I'm consultant, sometimes I'm the interim zoning administrator
what
consultant.
is your thing?
Okay, so I've been married a long time. What would you?
It doesn't make much difference to me other than it's one same so that it's the same person. I mean, the name's the same.
What would you like, Sarah?
I think, planner slash zoning administrator,
Okay,
does that work?
that works for me.
Okay.
You get that, Brian?
Yeah.
Any other comments on the meeting? On the minutes, I'm sorry.
I didn't have, it wasn't anything major, it was just, in the number 6, in that paragraph, the count was 6 instead of 5.
Laura, may I ask you to speak up just a little bit?
Yes, I would be happy to. Number 6, that paragraph, there's a count of public attendance, presenting comments, and it says 5, and I counted 6, because time was at the end. And, in reference to the TLT board requirements for zoning, should that be, a general requirements? Referring to the documentation that Sarah gave us?
So I wonder if that 4 was a number of 4 or if it should be a little R.
Oh,
Because there's more than 4 requirements that were,
yeah.
so I didn't know what that 4 was.
We don't have it, right?
There's nothing in the zoning ordinance, right?
Cole, any other changes?
No.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Discussion? No discussion? Let's vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion passed. Thank you. Number 8, ongoing reports. Zoning administrator's report is first.
I give a list of all the permits issued as well as the light that Jackie and I have been working on. Does anyone have any questions?
I did see where the trailer's on Pro Road, the break.
Oh, okay.
Slow process, but we got it done.
Sometimes they do take a little time.
Anything else in your report we need to know? PC representative for the ZBA, Cole?
Yes, we met last month. We had 2 appeals that we heard. The first was a variance for a shed that was existing to be in the side setback. Quite an interesting story. It long, but in the end it was denied. And in fact, I provided you all a copy of a draft minute. More details on these. The second was a case that was interesting. It was an interpretation appeal of the zoning administrator's decision that had to do with the deck that was being, some maintenance was being conducted on Torch Lake. And there were several sections of the code that were appealed in both the current code and the code that existed at the time the deck was built. In the end, part of the committee agreed that part of the code was not interpreted correctly by the zoning administrator. Kind of a long, interesting story. More detail, if anybody has any questions.
Anything else? Education representative for the board.
Yeah. So last month's board meeting, it was pretty packed. Most citizens were there with concerns on what was going to happen with Torch Port and the DNR auction site, Torch site down by the block. Bill Peterson, our deputy supervisor, reported that the work that was done on our drainage ponds around our building is now complete, and it was done under our budget, which is good news. He also reported that the cemetery is currently in the process of getting the gravel. I was actually over there watering a tree and saw a pile of gravel over there. He also reported that he did a ride around with Bert Thompson, who was the head of our Antrim County Road Commission. And they went and they toured all the roads in our township and kind of made a list of which ones were better than the others. They're hoping to get a portion of Northwest First Lake Drive fixed up. I don't know exactly what that means, but it's on their list. As a board, we agreed to hire another advanced EMT. We agreed to hire Veronica as the day park coordinator. We also hired 2 park attendants. We agreed to hire Veronica as our scanner to help out our clerk's office. We also agreed to initiate the live streaming, which you guys know, that will be happening at our board meeting, their planning commission, and our ZBA meetings. Mr. Strange does a great job. He also did all of our Zoom meetings when we were under the pandemic. We also agreed to the Antrim County Tax and Assessment Service Agreement, and we accepted the roadwork contract for Beechwood Drive and Torch Lake Drive.
I have a question. Some of the audience has approached me over the last couple of weeks. How do they go about getting hold of the road commission to get speed limit signs changed and or double lines paved in front of their homes, et cetera, on 88 US 31? How do they go about doing it? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, my first approach would probably be the email or Google and County Road Commission. Email that.
You think Bill could help that out, that process?
Possibly. I mean, I would love to see the rumble strips that they put in from Borderline Road all the way to Martin's Road. I would like to see that fixed. I mean, that's terrible. But I don't know. I would email them.
Okay, email the board.
Bert Thompson or somebody over in Antrim County.
Thanks, Jason.
Well,
Okay, any comments on the reports, commissioners? Okay. Number 9, correspondence. Do we have any correspondence? None? Okay, number 10, new business. Planning commission meeting minutes policy. Sarah, do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. At the last meeting, when we were talking about minutes, there was a little bit of discussion about what should be included in the minutes, how they should look, items like that. And, you know, we didn't dig further into that discussion because we were doing minutes. It wasn't really appropriate. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of talk about how much detail you want in your minutes. And, you know, if there's a specific naming, you want your full name to be in there, those types of items. So I put in here a list of what is required to be in your minutes. You know, where the location has happened, who's present, who's absent, and then any motions or actions that are taken. And then the public hearing should include a brief synopsis of the comments made by the public. So anything outside of that is at the discretion of the planning commission. You know, it should include some details going towards making your decision. You know, if you're going through your findings of fact, that information is important to be included. But the conversation, the discussions that happen, you know, do you want that word for word, or you're okay with, you know, a little overview, how much detail, and being that we have a new recording secretary, it also seems appropriate to give her some guidance on. You know, we don't want to sit here and have her spend all this time writing something that nobody wants to read, essentially, or is not important to the planning commission. So with that, I guess I'll turn it back over to the planning commission to kind of figure out what you'd like this to look like. The board went to a more streamlined approach. You know, they have the agenda, they put in the motions in there, but there's very limited discussion included in the minutes. But that's their policy, that's what they're doing. So the planning commission can do something separate if you like.
Just a point of interest, when you look at your bylaws, the planning commission, they don't really say it, they indicate, they kind of lean towards the streamlined edition of the minutes. So, and I know Veronica's really, she like that. But I'm thinking, we may want to consider the streamlined version. Up to the commission.
Yeah, I would, excuse me, I would agree with that, because I think when you see this, what we got this time, I didn't even read it. You know, it's too lengthy, it's too convoluted.
Too much detail back
Too
and
much
forth.
detail back and forth, I think it's all necessary, a lot is unnecessary. So I would vote for the streamlined version also.
Okay, so with that said, if we move in that direction, who's going to come with Veronica on how these things should look? These streamlined things. Do you do it, Sarah? Or you want me to do it?
I can do it.
Okay, fine, let me figure it out.
Okay.
I don't think it calls for a motion for this. I'd like to show hands. How many people would like a streamlined version of this? On their petition? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay, all but one. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's move in that direction.
Okay.
I think that's a smart thing.
Let's try it, and you know, if you find that you don't like what they've turned into, we can look at it again. So just let us know.
Okay. The next is, it's not on your agenda, but we added it earlier, is 10D. We reviewed 2.19. At the last meeting, we approved the changes. The changes are in your packet. You had a chance to read it. We also did the same for 4.0. It goes on to like 5 or 6 pages of documents that need to be sent to Antrim County. And what I would like to suggest we do now, is I'd like to make a motion to approve these changes, and I'd like a second if I could, and then we'll vote on it.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion. Okay, just for the point of interest, when we approve this, we'll send the documents to Antrim County, they will review them in some way, shape, or form. And then it'll go to our board for proper review. This will be no problem. Okay? Any more discussion on that motion? May I have a vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, number 11. This is a really strange situation. So I would ask each of you in the audience to kind of stay with me. Normally, I would recuse myself because I have a vested interest in this in ADHD zoning, and I would not be involved, and I would leave the building. But because we have 2 commissioners absent tonight, it gets down to 4 people that would review this, discuss it, vote on it. And Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong. Does it have to be unanimous one way or the other of the vote?
It does not have to be unanimous, but it has to be majority.
Okay, it has to be a majority. That would be difficult in most cases to do with 4 people and not 7. So I would suggest, it's up to the commissioner, not me, if they want to consider moving this to the July meeting. Anybody like to speak like? Barbara?
I wouldn't be opposed to moving it to the July meeting, but I would like to investigate a possible special meeting between now and the July meetings. I don't want it to, linger for a long time. And maybe we can have a special meeting and move this forward a little faster than the next meeting.
Okay. I'm certainly not opposed to that. I think it's a good idea. Any ideas what we'd like to do that? We have several people on our commission board, so it's not going to be during the day. It'll be at night. So do you want to do it in 2 weeks? Is that what you'd like to do? I'm not leading you, I'm asking you.
What is the time limit on the notification for setting this up?
We don't have, we would just have to post an agenda, and for special meeting requirements, it's 18 hours.
Oh, just 18 hours?
Yeah, it'd be nice to give a little bit more notice and let the public know. You know, my opinion is there's two people that are not here, it would be nice to consult with them to make sure they can make whatever meeting we schedule it for in the future. You know, but it's, you say, okay, in 2 weeks, we want to have this meeting, I can get on the phone and try to figure out if they can make those.
Sheriff, can I ask you to leave a lead on that if that's the way the commissioners want to? You coordinate the date.
Absolutely. I mean, we can look at it, if you have your calendars and say, this is the worst for us, make sure the other people can make it, so it's not firm, but it doesn't general kind of idea, or if you don't even wander around that road, that's up to my decision. You gotta see if there's anything that works for who's here at least.
I'm just going to leave it up to you guys. Okay, I'm out.
The 2 weeks would be like the 22nd.
So I cannot make the 22nd, but I can do the 23rd or the 24th.
Do we gotta go wait that long?
That's 2 weeks out. I mean, if you want to try to do next week,
16, 17?
Keith, I will just say one thing. We have people in the audience that are driving up and down the state for the meeting, so give them a little lead time would be probably beneficial.
Thursday, 17th.
does that work for everybody that's here? I'll have, like I said, I'll just check with them members that are not here. So if you said the 17th, we have a backup date for the next week that would work? The 23rd or the 24th?
I can't do the 23rd.
Love the 23rd.
That's happening now, or?
Yeah, I think the 7 works good for everybody. Yeah. Well, I'll take those 2 days, I'll call the other 2 members, see if that's something they can get on their schedule, and then we'll get it posted, and we'll put it on the website as soon as we know, when that meeting will be, to, take that information out. And I mean, if those days are, we'll just keep, we'll work towards something, I don't know what it'll be soon.
Could you repeat those dates? You know, for now,
That's okay.
I'm reasonably flexible, but I don't.
The 17th or the 23rd are the 2 days we're looking at right now.
And
I-
when is the 17th? That would be next Thursday,
Thursday, yes,
the week from Thursday. And then the 23rd,
is a Wednesday,
the following Wednesday.
yeah. I would only want to do it if we can get everybody here, if that's the concern right now, that we only have 4 members present. It'd be nice to have Jerry, since he's the vice chair, he can chair the meeting for us, in the absence of the
Is,
chair.
I just want to circle back a little bit. I didn't hear the conversation that you, the commissioners wanted to move that stuff. I didn't see the show of hands or anything like that. I heard the discussion. Would you be a little formal about that?
Is it appropriate to ask for input from the applicant?
Say it again?
Is it appropriate to ask for input from the applicant?
No, it's not appropriate. This next meeting is a discussion with the commissioners. Everybody else will just be reviewing and viewing the discussion. Okay? I know that sounds a little harsh, but that's protocol. Okay? So, do you all want to move the meeting to one of these dates? Is that the idea?
Or whatever other date the Sarah comes up with.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I would just say we do need to do this as soon as possible.
No argument with it, you know. Okay, that's only fair to everyone. Okay? Any further discussion on this?
Chair, right now.
That would be, somebody would need to be the chair, since the chair is leaving for a conflict, the vice chair is not here, somebody else would have to be nominated to be chair as well, and then there's only 4 votes.
Is there anything here that would actually accept the motion?
I'm not going to touch that one. Okay, any more discussion on this issue? Thank you for your patience. You know, it's really unusual. Moving on to number 12, concerns of the commission. I don't have any obvious concerns right now. I think it's moving on pretty well. We all know that We're probably going to get a number of zoning change requests in the near future. I'm get comfortable with that. It's going to be kind of a long summer, I would imagine. We'll keep you posted as we get closer to that. Members, do you have any concerns? None? Great, Commissioner. Our consultant?
We are working on digitizing the zoning map. I have a couple, there's about 30 parcels I need to go through and look and figure out what the map says they're zoned. But Rowan, he's a fantastic guy, that's kind of in the office. He's went through and the map's just about done, so we'll be able to print out a big one for you and then put them in your zoning ordinances too, and they'll be a little bit cleaner, you'll be able to see the lines better, and it will have an updated parcel map as well, so any splits will show up in that. So that's something that we're working on.
Would it be worth stating what, I mean, what that you guys did to work over to talk about that now?
It'd probably be appropriate after when we have that discussion next time.
Any other concerns? Public commentary, would anybody like to speak? Dave Taylor?
Yeah, my name is Dave Taylor, I live at 5844 North M88. I just would like to reiterate that area concerning the zoning request, rezoning request. That's a totally residential area with the exception of the church and the senior assisted living facilities. Previously, I know that there was a post office there was a little general store, things like that. Those have been gone for years and years. That whole strip there is all residential. And I don't see any advantage to having businesses in that area. I think it's a residential area. Why would we need businesses in a residential area? We don't have areas in other places to build, to have businesses operating. And also the wanting to combine the two parcels, I think that opens up a can of worms that, what's going to go in there down the road? What kind of business is going to go on there with double lot size? And I'm against any rezoning or any change in zoning. I think it should be all residential.
Thank you. Any other comments? We want to set a record for the quickest meeting. Okay, adjournment. I'd like to call for a motion for adjournment of the meeting. Can I have a motion, please?
Move to adjourn.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Discussion? Vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much, everybody.